is the addiction and the devil in our head, really trying to come and convince you as it tries to say, no, 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 it'll be different this time. You've
Yeah.
changed. Look, you've gone a year,
Yeah.
or what if, how about this? Because this one almost creeped in my head the other day. What if you drank once a year? That was your anniversary and you just, and I started laughing. I was like, I see you sneaking in.
I solemnly swear that I will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Hey, Ron here from The Truth About Addiction. Today we have a special guest. He's from America. I know he was in LA. It's Gary Smith.
Thank you so much. You froze there for a second for me, but I'm here. Well, I'm here and I'm happy to be here. Thank you very much. I love what you're doing for the community. So thank you.
No, my pleasure, mate. So, Gary, you still in LA now?
Yeah, I live in Torrance, Los Angeles. I've been in LA for about 12 years.
Okay, cool. Yeah, pretty funny place.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting place for sure.
Yeah. As I said to you earlier when we were talking offline, I lived there for a little while and wow,
Yeah.
I'd go to the gym. I'd go to the gym to train, and people would be on the treadmill reading scripts and, and I'd have other people approach me going, man, where you from? Because of my accent and I got a full bodysuit of tattoos and they'd come over and start chatting to me. They're, I'm a script writer. I should write your story, and like everything was about the movies.
It's all about the movies out here. Yeah. And
And I
it's
remember in Sunset Boulevard, there's a big poster. You would have seen it. It says, so you want to be a movie star? What restaurant do you work in?
yeah. It's so true. It's such a brutal industry. It's so tough to break into. Everybody's trying to do it.
Yeah. One of my ex-wives, sounds terrible. I met her in San Francisco. She'd come across from Florida to be an actress.
Got it.
And I met her in San Francisco and wow, that's in 1994. And we got a 28-year-old daughter, who lives here in Australia with me. She doesn't live with me anymore. She's grown up and she's got her own guy and all that stuff now. But yeah, a lot of memories, a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm originally from Northern California, so I'm pretty familiar with San Francisco. How many times have you been married, if you don't mind me asking?
5.
All right, that's a good amount.
One. I got it right this time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's damn right.
So first off, Gary, let's delve into your past and just to give the audience an understanding of where you came from and what you did about it and what you're doing today. Because I think it's really important that we share what happened, where we were, what happened, and what we're doing today.
Yeah, absolutely. I grew up in Northern California, had an amazing childhood, 2 amazing parents. Played a lot of sports. But, the party phase kind of kept going, started drinking in high school, and around 21, 22 or so, those hangovers didn't go away like they used to, started lasting a day or two and moved down to LA when I was about 25. And I think I became a little lonely and depressed, which was really out of character for me. And I started drinking a lot alone and I would always find my way into using cocaine whenever I would drink. I've done ecstasy way more times than I can count. And it wasn't until about 29 when I first decided to get sober. And that was phenomenal. Best decision of my life. That only lasted for 5.5 years to the first relapse in 2021. Right when I decided to make my first movie, speaking of movies. And it was interesting because in this movie, the lead character that I play decides to get sober. And, he really wants to better himself. And as I'm editing this film, I'm going through my addiction again, which is so funny because I wrote the film when I was sober, inspired by sobriety, wanted all that. And I'm making the film and I'm in my addiction again. And thank God I got sober again July 11th of last year. So a little less than a month, I'll have my 1 year again, which I'm super excited about. And so, yeah, I mean, in general, I've always enjoyed playing sports, making movies, but I've also just loved alcohol. And the good thing is if I don't drink alcohol, I don't want cocaine, thank God. And nowadays with fentanyl killing everybody, it's so fucking, sorry, can I swear on here?
Yeah, you can swear, man.
It's so fucking scary because so I'm so glad that I'm sober now because it's so dangerous to be doing drugs these days. And so, yeah, that's a little bit about where I'm at. I'll be 1 year sober this July 11th.
That's so beautiful. And I'm glad you touched on the fact that we do relapse, but so what?
Mm.
It's not a competition. I've been doing this recovery stuff since 1981, and I relapsed 3 times. Like in the 5 year period between 81 and 86, I've been blessed to have stayed. I haven't had a drink since 1982, and I haven't had a drug since 1986.
Nice.
But that's just one day at a time.
That's
It's only
amazing,
one day.
man. Congrats. That's
Yeah.
incredible.
I don't know about you. I'm a 12-step person. I got clean in 12-step programs. Do I think it's the only way? No, but it's the only way for me.
Very cool. Works for my dad. He was 10 years sober before he passed away, and he did the 12 steps. I
Yeah.
haven't actually gone to a meeting since I went with him one time as a kid. And I have nothing against it. I just haven't gone and done it. When I first got sober, what I attribute a lot to it too was I really started studying your subconscious mind. I read a
Yep.
great book called The Power of Your Subconscious, and I really worked with that a lot. But I would really like to go to a meeting one of these days because I have no doubt that I would enjoy it.
Yeah. If you come to Australia, you can come with me.
All right.
See, the thing that a lot of people don't quite get, I'm not even sure you really are aware of how much in that small conversation you just had with me, how much you explained the problem of today's society with drugs. I haven't researched this to find out whether it's true or not. A few months ago, I read a story where they talked about cocaine and alcohol mixed together are the only two drugs that form a different drug in your brain. And that's why it's so popular now that people get on the alcohol, they start getting on the coke, and it makes the coke last longer. Because cocaine's only got a 20 or 30-minute buzz, really. The rest is just the craziness of ourselves. But also something you said I've been doing this for a long time, like so many years, and I do it all day, every day. I just help people and I work with people and I talk to people. And we can't guarantee our behavior once we put alcohol in our body. We make bad choices. But the reality is, alcohol is not the problem. Your mind was the problem.
Mm.
Your subconscious mind was the issue. That's why it made me smile when you said, I did deep work on the subconscious mind, because I say to people, you haven't got a drinking problem, you have a thinking problem.
Mm-hmm.
You
That's
put
to
the
the
drugs
root.
down, you've still got the problem.
Right. Get to the root.
Yeah, man. The alcohol and the drugs are just a symptom of our thinking problem. So I say you change the way you think, you'll change the way you feel. Change the way you feel, you'll change the way you act.
Mm.
It's really that simple, And if I want to change the way I act, I have to understand that there's consequences and I'm responsible. And that's what the subconscious mind is. The subconscious mind is making you responsible for your thoughts, actions, and reactions. Once you understand that, wait a minute, you can drink alcohol, but you can't drink alcohol and have a good life.
Right. Yeah.
It's simple. If you tell an alcoholic you can't drink alcohol, what's the alcoholic going to do? He's going to drink.
Mm-hmm.
We're defiant bastards.
Yeah.
You tell me I can't touch something, man, I'm going to put my finger in that thing, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You see that wet paint sign? It's like, oh, shit, yeah, it's wet. Yeah. That's my brain,
Of course.
Is that dog crap I stood on? Shit, I wish I hadn't have done that. That's our mental state. That's not the drink or the drug. That's our mental state.
Right.
And the nice part is, just in such, like you shared for only a small moment, but man, you wrote that film in your recovery, and then in your addiction, you're editing it. It's pretty horrific. That's like, see, in the 12-step programs, they get you to write your life story.
Mm.
They get you to do a moral inventory.
That's so interesting because when people, I always explain it as incredibly therapeutic. People say why, because it's basically my story. I didn't put inspired by true events or based on true story just for many reasons. But when I decided this was the story I wanted to write, it felt so good, to like it. Yeah, it was very therapeutic.
Yeah, 100%. And as I said to you, I wrote my life story, and I've been doing this, and I wrote my life story in 2007. And as I said to you, that thing there was like
live crime. That's great.
It was such a unbelievable experience. You have to, yourself. You're a writer. You write it 100 times. You read it 1,000 times. You edit it. and then you edit it again to see what spelling mistakes you've got. Then you edit it again to see if it's still running. By the time you've read it so many times, it's like, wow, this is really what happened.
Right.
This is what happened, and we can only draw from our experience or our imagination. Where else can you draw from? We have to draw our information as a writer from your experience or your imagination.
Yeah.
And, and the trouble with alcoholic brain is we have to work out which one of those is real.
Right.
Our imagination is what controls us and causes us fear and anger. And I say to people a lot about in recovery, if you've got an alcoholic brain, if you live in the past, you live on anger and usually regret. If you live in the future, you live in fear and anxiety. If you live in the moment, everything's okay. Right here, right now, life's perfect.
That's
right here, this very moment, life is perfect. This is it. This is nirvana. Right here, right now, is perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, I really going to go and research more about the films you've already written. As I said, I lived in LA for nearly 20 years on and off, like in America. And I was lucky enough to meet a lot of crazy mother people. Yeah. I had the pleasure of hanging out with Charlie Sheen for a little bit.
Wow.
Before he went completely crazy. Way before 2.5 Men. It was in 1995. 1995, yeah. It was in 1995.
A very similar actor, Andy Dick, is in my most recent film. They're kind of comparable.
Well, Charlie, when 2.5 Men came out, I'm watching it, and I'm like, they haven't written anything. This is just Charlie being Charlie.
Right.
That was just him being himself. There was no script there, man. That was him. Like, that was the guy that I knew.
Yeah.
Like, that was him just completely out of control and loose. And, he'd come into the tattoo studio in LA and drinking and, dropping pills and snorting coke and just fucking wide off his brain and so fast. And he's a really funny guy, but he's a really kind human being too.
Yeah.
He's a very
sober now, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah. He's sober about 6 or 7 years now.
Yeah, ever since the winning, winning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ever since the winning.
Yeah.
It was really funny because he said to me, because I'm like, man, you need to do something about yourself. I like recovery. And he was like, what are you going to do? Take one of them AA meetings? I said, well, it wouldn't hurt. Look at you. Yeah. He's telling me, I got so many cars and, I got this. I said, man, you got nothing. Because in LA, I say people who are wrapped up in themselves make small parcels.
People what?
People who are wrapped up in themselves make small parcels. And it's such a valid saying for LA.
Yeah.
Because everything's about I,
Yep.
And I remember we used to go across the road to the comedy company. Paulie Shaw's mum owns it or something. And Michael Jackson would be there. And like everyone would come to this comedy company, and Rodney Dangerfield would get on stage. And man, some of the people I've seen there was insane. But you know what? They were all out of it, but they didn't look happy.
Of course.
That was the thing I noticed the most. They'd have the whole entourage of hanger-oners, and I just sit back and I look at them and I think, wow,
Well, it's such a temporary numbness, right?
Yeah.
It's, and then you wake up and the problems are still there, but they're worse.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And that's exactly right. They're worse.
Right.
And people say, I was depressed, so I got drunk. I say alcohol's a depressant. So
Yeah.
you're putting petrol on a fire to put it out.
Right.
Yeah.
So
what was your first film you wrote?
Well, this was my first feature film, SkyFly. One word. SkyFly.
Yep.
SkyFly, one word. Yeah. And so it's about an alcoholic skydiver who's afraid to skydive. He's traumatized from his first parachute malfunction. And so it's a story of his road to sobriety and redemption in the sky. It's a comedy drama. And I had a blast, man. I learned a lot. So I wrote it in 2020. We shot it 2021. Post-production took a couple years, and we just released it last month. So,
okay, cool. Where's it on?
It's on Amazon, Apple TV, Google Play, and YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
I imagine your listeners are probably worldwide. I was going to say, because in Australia, I think it might only be Apple TV, but I'm not sure.
On YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube, Google Play, Amazon, Apple TV.
We have all that.
The trick is they got to search at SkyFly one word. Now that was
Yeah.
a lesson learned as a filmmaker. Never make up words or combine words, because most people hear SkyFly and because they're illiterate, they'll search it two words. You know,
Right.
the algorithm hasn't caught up. But yeah, my character that I play, like similar to myself, you know, he decides to get sober, and I really wanted that to be part of the theme of the movie, because I was like, if I'm going to make something, I want it to at least have some type of good message, you know, of course.
Yeah.
And if I'm, you know, since I'm doing my own story,
Yeah, cool. You wrote it and directed it?
I did. I produced it. I wrote it. I directed it. I played the lead, um, co-edited it, casted it, and I'm sure there's other things I did that I didn't give myself credit for, because at some point, you know, you got to just stop with the credits.
That's a lot of work.
It's so much work, man. So much work.
And then
Such
you
a
got to
tough
promote it.
industry. What's that?
And then you got to promote it.
Then you got to promote it, exactly. And you know, and that's tough. It's tough to get eyeballs on the film. And you know, these days people are what, they got Netflix and Hulu for 15-20 bucks a month, combine it 30-40 bucks a month, so they have $100 million movies at their fingertips. So to get somebody to watch your lower budget independent film for $3.99 or whatever to go rent it, it's actually pretty difficult. So it's a really tough industry, but I've always loved movies, you know, and so I want to keep being in movies.
Yeah, cool. And I believe this in my whole heart. As long as you take care of your recovery takes care of everything else. You
Amen.
stay sober, you'll achieve it. It's
Yeah.
like everything. The harder you work, the luckier you'll get.
Right. Yeah, I got something here my mom sent me once. It says, luck favors the prepared.
Yeah.
So, you know, stay working, stay busy. And it's so true, man. I think about, like, if I kept drinking and doing alcohol, I can't do anything. Like, it's impossible. Just impossible.
I hate alcoholism. I hate drugs, and you know, it's just the way it destroys good people.
Mhm.
It takes everything from us. The great remover takes away our ambitions, our drive, our love, our family, our self-respect, our dignity, just
Yeah.
those important things that make us human beings.
Yeah.
You know?
That was the worst, when I would wake up, you know, and you don't know what you did, right?
Yeah.
Like, because I would black out so often, and I'd wake up and just, you're scared to look at your phone, you know, like, oh God, who's gonna, like, what did I do?
Yeah, and as we talk about alcohol being such an insidious, legal, encouraged poison, because that's
Poison.
what it is. It's poison.
Absolutely. I try to think to myself, you know, I wouldn't drink the hand soap.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I see people drink the hand soap in prison.
well, yeah, I saw an intervention the other day where the lady was drinking mouthwash.
Yeah, man. Yeah. No, we had guys in prison used to drink the mouthwash for the alcohol. And I drank aftershave in
Oh,
prison. I drank aftershave in prison.
yeah.
Yeah. We made what they called home brews. You know, it was like you get the pineapple juice and you put some yeast in it and some sugar, and you'd make a drink while he was in prison. And this is a true story. This is in the early 70s, before I knew I had a problem. And, I was stirring it with a biro like this. I'm stirring the drink that we'd had sitting for 2 weeks, and I lifted, and the pen melted.
My
And one of the guys said, "I'm not drinking that. Not my attitude was good, more for me."
God.
Yeah,
And
that
it
just
got you
shows you.
drunk?
Oh yeah, and sick.
Yeah, of course.
You know, because let's be honest, when you're drunk, you poison yourself.
Straight up.
That's why you vomit. That's why
Hmm.
you lose consciousness. That's why you stagger, because you're poisoning yourself.
And the
It's
next
just
day, my body's
crazy.
just going through withdrawals. You know, when I'm
Yeah.
so hungover. You know, one of
It's
the last times wasn't the last time I relapsed. Not my sober anniversary coming up on July 11th, but I think it was a couple months before that. I ended up in the hospital. I mean, I bendered all night. I did about 1.5 grams of coke. I drank probably 24 beers. You know, a handful of tequila. I did not go to sleep. I went to work. I was driving. I mean, just an absolute shit show. And then come the next day, I just checked myself into the hospital. I was like, I think I'm going to die. So,
I honestly, I remember as a kid. See, I believe that I was born. Not that it matters. I believe I was born with an allergy to alcohol. I
yeah.
really believe that. even as a little kid, I remember coming home from, being out with the boys at 14, drinking illegally, drinking in the, someone's parents had some wine and we'd stolen or whatever,
Mm.
and coming home to my mum and crying and vomiting. She'd be rubbing my head and I'd be vomiting in the bucket. I'd say, Mum, I'll never do this again. And the next Friday night, I'd do exactly the same thing.
Of course.
So
I feel I became allergic too. I don't know if I was born allergic, but now, because the miraculous amount of times where I would have 2 or 3 beers and stop, and it wouldn't turn into 15, like 2 or 3 beers, I'd feel kind of hungover the next day. I know so many people that can have 3, 4, 6 beers and be fine the next day. I don't
my
know how.
wife has a wine every single night, one wine.
Yeah.
My attitude, why would you have one?
Right. Yeah, my girlfriend's I call them normal people. My girlfriend can have one glass of wine, one beer. I'm like, you're normal. She's like, does it bother you? I'm like, no, I love it. Enjoy yourself, And
Yeah.
I keep beer and wine in the fridge for her and guests, and
Yeah.
that's a badge of honor for me now. I keep the devil in the refrigerator. I can stare it right in the eyes, and I just look at it like we've talked about poison. I just anytime I just kind of glance over it, but if my eye does catch it, I go, wow, there's poison in there.
Well, as long as you're honest with yourself, and as I said to you, my motto is, I cannot drink alcohol and have a good life. I can drink alcohol. It's in the fridge. I can go and drink it. It's on every
Yeah.
corner, especially in America. You can buy it in the gas stations. See, that blew me away when I went to the States. You can buy alcohol in gas stations, like the 7-Eleven. Everybody sells booze. Like that's in Australia. It wasn't like that. It's getting like that now.
We love our alcohol and fast food over here in America.
We've caught up. I think we've got more obesity now than you guys.
Yeah.
30 years ago when I started going to America, Australia wasn't like that. We didn't have all this fast food shit.
Yeah.
We're like America's little brother. It's quite sad, but it's true.
Mm.
We're like the little brother, that's really competitive and wants to compete and wants to copy everything the big brother does. Mate, I made a lot of money off that, going to America, seeing what was trending over there, then coming back to Australia and doing it here.
Well,
Because we
that's not
follow the
good.
trend.
You don't want the obesity. You guys leave
no.
that for us.
I've been bringing Corvettes into Australia for over 35 years.
Corvettes?
Yeah. I love Corvettes. I've got a ZR1 in the garage.
The new Corvette is really saucy.
For them? Yeah, got 2CH, yeah. Orange.
Nice.
They're both orange, yeah.
I see that if I were to ever get a sports car, I'm getting orange or yellow or pink. You got to get something cool.
I was gonna get it wrapped. For my wife, one of them was gonna get wrapped pink.
Yes.
But I'll show you. This is
like a hot pink or something, or flat pink. Yeah, there we go.
It's in my garage.
No shit. Badass. Yeah.
That's my garage out the back.
Damn, look at you. That's sick, dude.
Gifts of recovery, man.
Hell yeah.
That's the honest truth. If I'm drinking, I don't own none of that shit. When I'm drinking, I don't own a car.
Nah.
Yeah. When I'm drinking, I don't own nothing. People don't understand. I say, if you could really be honest enough with yourself to have a look what alcohol has done to you, you would never associate with that thing again. If it was another human being that spoke to you the way that it speaks to you in your brain, you would murder it.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't let somebody talk to you like that.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't tell you, your brain tells you you're useless, worthless, and hopeless. You're better off killing yourself. Your family be better off without you.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Crazy.
That's a cancer. Cancer's when cells fight themselves. And that's what happens with our brain. Alcoholism brain starts fighting itself, telling you you're useless, worthless, and hopeless. Your family are better off without you. I remember thinking about suiciding.
Man.
When I didn't think I could get sober, there was one stage there when I first got sober and I relapsed. And I was only going to have a couple of beers with the boys. I left rehab. I'd been clean for 10 months. I had a couple of beers with the boys, and one of them said, "Oh, do you want a couple of pills like Quaaludes?" Took them. Next thing, I'm in a stolen car, heading towards trying to do an armed robbery so I can go and get some heroin. Crashed the car. The police came because of the car crash. Put me in the police car because I got cut a lot. I stole the police car and ended up back in prison from having 2 beers. All I wanted to have was 2 beers.
My God.
That was in 1980.
That is just a perfect story for somebody like us.
Yeah, 2 beers. I'm only going to have 2 beers. Then I was
Man,
going to have 2 beers, and I was going to go back down to Sydney because I was in a different state, and ended up back in prison.
wow.
Last I
How did
drank.
you go the cop car? They didn't put you in the back, or you climbed to the?
No, because they weren't arresting me. They didn't know it was a stolen car. They actually it was a van. It was a big van, and they had the 2 front seats. It was an accident van that goes to accidents and does all the measurements and all that.
Yeah,
And they put me in the back, and I, because you're a liar, a thief, and a cheat. I'm like, my buddy, he's in the bush. He got out of the car and he's taken away. There's no buddy. So
yeah.
they go looking to help to save my friend who's in the bush, and they left the motor running. And I just jumped over the front seat and took off. Bright orange van with police written over it, federal police written on it.
Gosh,
Yeah, I got 9 months prison for that.
wow.
Crazy, man.
Got in a high speed chase from the cops on my motorcycle, which is in the movie. They got the helicopter and everything, but I was sober.
Man.
It's not an addiction story. I just ran. I don't really know why.
I do. Fear of flight. You go, bang, I've got to go.
Yeah, I mean, he got behind me, and I didn't want another speeding ticket, and I knew he couldn't catch me, and I forgot about helicopters, and I, yeah.
Not in America, man.
uh,
They
as soon as
run you over.
he got near me, he got real close to let me know he was there, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm that idiot on cops right now. I can't." So then I really tried to punch it. I hit about 180, and they clocked me at 173, I guess, and so I got tired. I ran out of gas again. I actually got gas at the beginning of the chase. I got gas, got back on the freeway, and
Really?
yeah,
Man.
uh,
Yeah. And that was
yeah,
in recovery. See, as I said, I went back to prison in recovery. We have to take care of this.
yeah.
We have to take care of our brain, man.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, because that's where the enemy lives. The enemy within, the enemy up here.
Yeah,
You know, we should get together and we'll write some stuff about the enemy within, man.
yeah. That's a
Turn it
great
into a
title.
comedy. Have all them funny stories. Maybe do a whole bunch of really small stories. But I can tell you lots of stories where people just do stupid things. You know, that like drunk and that, and it's like
Yeah.
you can't make this shit up.
Well, the enemy within. That's $1 million title right there.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Right.
where it is. That's where he lives. He lives up there.
Absolutely.
I just picture, where you got the voice talking, where you can have it, where the audience can hear the voice talking to the, like this conflict of interest, like you're worthless, useless, and hopeless. Why don't you just kill yourself, you asshole? And it's like, whoa, yeah, because we need to get the message out there. And this is why I do the podcast that we
That's
do
great.
recover.
That's
It's
very
not a
cool.
moral issue. It's a fucking disease. When I say disease, we're uncomfortable within ourselves. We're at ease. So we take something to think that we're going to make ourselves feel better.
Mm,
And what we do is we compound the lie.
mm.
And once we put a drug in our system, we can no longer guarantee our behavior. Why? It doesn't matter why. Do you want to call it a disease? Do you want to call it an affliction? Do you want to call it whatever you like? It doesn't matter. It's not relevant. The relevant is if you have got it, you've got it. If you haven't got it, you haven't. And if you haven't got it, you don't understand us that have got it.
Yeah, I've met a lot of people that don't understand.
Stop.
They can't put their head around it.
How many people said that to you over the years? Just stop.
Yeah, I'm like, thanks. That's great advice. I
I wish I'd have thought of that. Yeah. Like, fuck, man, you're a genius.
they're like, just have one or two, enjoy the buzz, and stop. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Next time I push you off the cliff, halfway down, just stop. Or jump out of a parachute and don't pull the ripcord and just say to yourself, stop, stop, stop,
That's right. Have you ever been skydiving?
Yeah.
That helps me with I need that kind of adrenaline rush, so I try to jump as much as I can. And
It's
so
the closest thing to shooting heroin I've ever done.
go. Yeah.
I'm
I
serious.
know. I've got a few recovered addict skydiving friends.
You're really into it?
Yeah, I've got about 130 jumps. There's a lot of skydiving in this movie too. I
cool.
jumped down at Skydive Elsinore. I'm actually going this weekend probably.
Yeah.
I love it, man. Like, there's nothing like it. You get that rush, and I mean it makes me feel so alive, and it gives me something to look forward to. And I just, it's just it's kind of like my Corvette a little bit. Treat to myself.
As soon as the parachute opens, I call the fall is the first injection of the rush, and then the parachute opens, it's the stone. It's the closest thing I've ever used to using heroin.
Nice, man.
Yeah, I was
Maybe.
actually going to go and learn to because I've only done it with tandem. So I was actually going to go and learn. This is in 2002 when I got arrested, and now I'm too old. They wouldn't let me do it now. I don't think.
Oh, they totally. I know a group called Skydivers Over 60. How old are you? 50?
I love you. You sound like my first wife. I'm 70 in a few weeks, in a few
70?
months.
God
Yeah,
bless you, man. You look great. And
yeah, I'm
but there,
70 in a few months.
yeah, I mean, depends on how your body is for sure.
Well, I go under the knife next week
Ooh,
for a pretty serious prostate removal.
okay. Yeah, sounds like
No
you.
big deal.
That's right.
Heroin couldn't kill me. Gangsters couldn't kill me. Cops didn't kill me. Prison couldn't kill me. This ain't going to kill me.
Damn straight. That's
Yeah.
badass. Hell
You know,
yeah.
I got a 4-year-old daughter who's 5 next month, and I got a 9-year-old son. My wife's 35, so I ain't going nowhere, man. You know what I mean?
God
I ain't
bless
going,
you, man.
you
Wow.
know,
Your wife is
I,
30. I love to hear that.
yeah, I have the best life in the world only because I'm clean
Exactly. It
and
all comes
because I
back.
try to do the right thing too now, Gary. It's really
Amen.
important that I do the right thing by people. See,
Yes.
today I'm a human being, not a human taking.
Mm,
In the old days, even though I was clean, I was still a human taking.
mm.
You know, I wasn't a street dealer selling some dope on the street. I was a career criminal.
Yeah.
I mean, I was in organised crime and all that bullshit. And yeah, you got to, mate. You send me your address and I'll send you a book
No, I'll buy it. Where can I buy it? I'd rather buy it.
on the truth about addiction on our webpage. You know, the truthaboutaddiction.com.au.
Okay.
You can just buy it on that, and I'll just sign it. I sign it to you in that too.
Yeah, I would much rather buy it. So thank
Yeah.
you.
Everything I've got today is a direct result of me being sober. Everything. You know, Danny Fugera, the
Hmm?
guy with the Mexican tattoo on his chest, the big Mexican on his chest. He's in Quentin Tarantino movies.
Who is it?
Danny.
I ate at his restaurant yesterday in Santa Monica. He has a couple restaurants in LA.
He's 50 years clean, 50 years sober.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was. He looks like a great guy. I was asking some of the employees yesterday. I was like, "Have you ever met him?" They're like, "Yeah, he's great."
Yeah. And he'll say the same as what I said. Everything he's got is because he helps other people.
Mm,
Everything he's got is a direct result of him helping other people.
mm,
He got in the movies because he was helping a guy
mm.
that he'd met in prison. He was teaching him how to fight, and he was on set, and the producer came down and said, "Who's he?" And he goes, "Oh," and he just got out of jail. And the guy said, "Oh, that's my training." And he goes, "Oh, look at the head on him." He said, "Do you want a part in the movie?"
That's awesome.
And then Danny met his wife because he was helping somebody else. You know, I'm the same. Everything I've got today is because a direct result of helping other people.
Right.
The more I give, the more I receive. It sounds funny. You
No.
know, the cliches and the paradoxes and all that are insane, but it's true. It's true,
Right.
man. It's true, you know. And if I do the next right thing, I get paid back tenfold. But that's not my motivation. And that's the good
Right.
part.
Yeah.
I have 8 demands that I live by: openness, acceptance, reliability, congruence, thoroughness, consistency, respect, and honesty. That's my whole program runs off those 8 words.
The congruence. What is that word?
Congruence means don't ask somebody to do something you're not prepared to do yourself.
Mm,
I don't ask you to wash the toilet if I'm not prepared to wash the toilet.
right.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
in work, I found in my companies, because I've been pretty lucky. No, it's not lucky. I've been blessed that I've ran some really good companies over the years, and I'm lucky enough to always be financially secure, even though my brain will tell me that I'm not, which is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Financially secure. Oh, you live in a beautiful home. You have a beautiful family. There's food in the cupboard. There's clothes in the cupboards. How can you be insecure? Because you got to remember, I was a street kid.
Mm,
I came from the background of when I was a little boy. My dad was a gangster, but he was a gambler. So some weeks we'd be eating. I'm going to use this as a term, it's not true. Caviar. The next week we'd be eating boiled rice.
right.
It depends on how the gambling was going. Was how I lived. But later on, he became wealthy, but my father gave me nothing. Gave me a bad attitude and a chip on my shoulder.
Mm,
My father was violent. He was a sexual predator. He was abusing my older sister.
I'm sorry
and
to
he
hear
was
that.
physically abusive to my mum and to myself. And it's in my book, and
Yeah.
that's why it's called Born into the Lie of Crime, not the
Wow.
life. I thought it was the life of crime. And don't get me wrong, I walked around with tailor-made suits on. I'm talking about 13, 14-year-old boy. That's me there dressed up,
Oh
holding a
wow.
machine gun,
That's
14
classic.
years of age.
Wow.
See, that's me as a kid. I'm 17 years of age there,
Wow.
charged with 5 attempted murders. Had a shootout with the cops. It's pretty out there. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
This guy here, as told by John Killick, when you get the book, Google him. He's a
Okay.
really good guy. He's 80-something years age. He's a friend of mine, and he didn't write the book. He just helped me put it together. He's written a few books.
Smart.
He's a notorious old old bank robber, and he escaped from prison in a helicopter.
Get out of here.
The only one in Australia, the only one in Australian history to ever do it. His girlfriend got a machine gun, hijacked the helicopter, made him land in the prison. Johnny jumped in and they got away.
No way. Did they ever
Is
get caught?
Sorry? Yeah, he got caught. Yeah. Yeah. We always get caught. Mate, there is no victory in crime.
Yeah. Except for DB Cooper, we don't know if he's dead or got away.
Yeah. I still, I don't know of many people who win. I
No.
thought I was winning, because for years I lived this life. You've only got to make one mistake.
No.
Yeah, they took a lot of money off me because I got a thing called proceeds of crime, the RICO Act. They confiscated my houses, my boats, my cars, took all our money. And that money wasn't illegal, it was money that I worked my ass off for 100 years. And they just took the lot and just said, bad luck, motherfucker. You want to play the game? We'll show you. We write the rules. We write the rules. You live by them or you die by them, And it's going to sound really funny, Gary. It was the best thing that ever happened to me because it made me reassess my whole life.
Yeah.
It made me work out who I wanted to be. At 50 years of age, I had to change my whole belief system, my complete belief system. And it was wonderful. It's been fantastic. It's been great. And when I was in prison...
I was just going to say that comes back to the subconscious when you say your belief system, right?
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly what it is. And I went to prison and I started a rehab in prison as a prisoner.
Was that
the
in
only
Australia?
one in Australian history?
Australia or US prison?
Yes, Australia.
Australia.
Yeah, I've only had one speeding ticket in America, and they won't let me back in.
And what?
They won't let me back in. They won't give me a visa to come back to America, the bastards.
Because of a speeding ticket?
No, because I got arrested in Australia for drug smuggling.
Shit.
So I'm not accepting it. I'm going to reapply and get a lawyer onto it.
Okay.
I was there for 20 years and got one speeding ticket in 20 years.
Yeah.
Come on.
And when you do come to LA, please let me know.
Yeah, 100%. Same if you come here.
Yeah.
You come to Australia, man, which I hope you do. I hope your film goes really well and you get to come over here.
I got one buddy who donated skydiving clothes. That his name is Rob Delaney, I want to say. He works with Manufactory. It's a skydive company out of Australia. I don't know.
Okay.
Don't doubt that you would have known him, but
maybe you could get some get some sort of opening here. Come to Australia and do one here.
I would love to.
There's a guy I know. I'm not friends with him, but I know him through another buddy of mine who just died. He just released a film called Gracelands, I think it was. It's about the streets, about street guys and drug addiction and all that stuff. Yeah, I'll do some homework on that. I'll get back to you on that one.
What was it called? Graceland?
I think it was called
Gracelands.
What I'll do is I'll do some homework and I'll find out his name and the name of the movie and everything else. And I'll get my wife to flick it across to you in an email and research him. That maybe I can hook you up and you might even be able to do something with each other.
Yeah, filmmaking community, we rely on each other, So 100%. Even I get on phone calls with random filmmakers all the time, and it's always exhilarating. And they learn something, I learn something, and so.
Yeah. See, I'm a big believer in networking. I believe it's not what you know, it's who you know. With everything, you got to remember, I was organised crime. So you don't get to talk to me unless somebody introduces you to me. Unless somebody vouches for you, I ain't talking to you.
Right.
Because if I introduce you to Billy, I'm responsible for you.
Right.
You fuck up, I'm fucked up.
Yeah,
You don't vouch for people unless you really know what's going down, man.
totally.
And like just because I got sober, my life hasn't changed that much. My principles are still really good. Like are strong, and I still believe in honesty, open mindedness, and willingness. Trying to help people
Hmm.
because I do believe look, we're on here for a reason. You and I are associated right now. We're connected for a reason.
Amen.
Way beyond my understanding. I'm not that bright. I don't pretend to be that connected. I don't want to be the smartest guy in the room. I'd like to employ him, but I don't want to be him. Because that means I'm hanging around with dickheads. If I think I'm the smartest guy in the room, I'm hanging around with dickheads. You know,
A
I
bunch
don't
of
want to be
yes
that guy.
men. That's
You
good.
know. So SkyFly, we get it through Apple, through YouTube, and if you just one word, SkyFly.
Skyfly, one word, yeah. Amazon, Apple TV, Google Play, YouTube, depending on where you're at in the world, and
Yeah,
hope people enjoy it.
it's a comedy drama.
Comedy drama, yeah, with some action
Yeah,
and some
cool.
sports.
Yeah, cool. No, I'll go and I'll watch it today myself. We've got a holiday here today.
Oh, cool. What's the holiday?
It's Namble Show Day, which is just like
Whatever.
some redneck, you know.
Yeah.
God damn, let's get the party going. We'll get some cows out and get some hogs. We'll slap some hogs around.
You remind me of my sister, and I
Yeah,
like
exactly. And I like that. Yeah. You said rape 3 times.
that.
Yeah. Mel Brooks, what a great producer.
Man.
Remember
But
that
yeah,
guy,
man,
Mel Brooks?
what's that?
Mel Brooks, the producer,
Oh,
Blazing Saddles.
he's incredible.
He was the best. He was great. He wouldn't be
Yeah.
able to make a movie today because he was so racist and so controversial with everything he was doing. I
I
like
know.
those
And,
guys.
people are too sensitive these days, man. And it's like
Mm.
an attack on comedy. I love Jerry Seinfeld for speaking out about it a lot. He's like,
Yeah,
everybody needs to relax.
yeah. Andrew Clay Dice. Andrew,
I last time I saw him in something was Entourage.
fuck, he was funny, man.
Yeah,
He was crazy.
he
He was
was.
crazy good. But see, those guys can't do comedy anymore because we have all
People,
these cupcakes that
people
get
are too
offended.
sensitive.
Oh, you've hurt my feelings.
It's like, then don't listen.
They grow a spine. Turn
Yeah,
the TV off.
yeah, exactly.
Don't come to the show.
Exactly. Yeah,
Mm. Yeah, no, man. Our world has got to grow some testicles, some
yeah.
kahunas.
People are starting to push back. Everybody's kind of realizing the whole woke thing went too far, So
Yeah.
thankfully, I think we're kind of slowly recorrecting.
I think what we are doing too is we're starting to get out there that alcoholism and drug addiction is not a moral issue.
Mm.
It's a mental health issue, and that we need to start to be aware that just because you're an addict doesn't mean you're a bad person.
Mm.
Just
Yeah.
because we have an allergy to alcohol doesn't mean we're monsters. We
Hmm.
can do monstrous things and we can be horrible people, but that's not who we are. That's what we become when we take a drink or a drug.
Yeah.
And I think
Amen.
the most important point is, and I'm glad that it's going to sound funny. I'm glad you're not a 12-step person because it just goes to show people that we do recover. It doesn't have to be this, and this.
Right.
What it has to be a choice. It has to be you making a decision that I've had enough.
Absolutely. Yeah. You make the choice and do
Yeah.
whatever works for you and stay true to it. And one day
Yeah.
at a time. I think that goes across. I had a good saying. I think my brother-in-law told me it, who's like 10 years sober, that I love. And I would bet you've heard it. Play the tape all the way through, which
Play
is
it all
just,
the way through.
right. So, okay, if I have these 2 beers, what happens next? Right.
Exactly.
Play the tape till tomorrow.
Play the tape all the way through. And I always say, what happened to you last time you drank? How did that work out for you?
Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
Right? Going to be different this time?
And that's the insanity of Albert Einstein said it, making the same mistake and expecting different results.
Absolutely. That's the definition of insanity.
For God's sake.
And that is the addiction and the devil in our head, really trying to come and convince you as it tries to say, no, it'll be different this time. You've changed. Yeah. Look, you've gone a year,
Yeah.
Or what if, how about this? Because this one almost creeped in my head the other day. What if you drank once a year? That was your anniversary and you just, and I started laughing. I was like, I see you sneaking in. Okay.
Good boy.
I see
Yeah.
you. Mhm.
That's exactly how I treat it. You sneaky little prick.
You little fucking
Yeah.
bastard. Because
Yeah.
the devil wears wolf in sheep's clothing, right? Devil, he shows
Exactly,
up in
man.
disguise.
Where's Prada?
That's right. And it's just, and somebody was asking me that the other day too. They're like, well, so when you were finishing your movie, weren't you feeling a bit like a hypocrite, because you were talking about this person who was getting sober and it was based on your life and you're using? I was like, that never even crossed my mind, because when I'm in my addiction, I'm constantly lying to myself, convincing myself, making stories, spinning it. I'm doing anything and everything to justify it. It wasn't until I finally got sober again where I did realize what you're saying. And I was like, oh, that would have been real silly had I released this movie while I was in my addiction. So I'm really glad I got sober before it released.
Yeah. And I believe, I don't know if you have a higher power or a belief system or whatever.
I do.
Everything's for a reason. And something's
Absolutely.
guided you to where you are today. And I say, my God, whoever my God is, never saved me from drowning to kick me to death on the beach.
Can you say that again?
He never saved me from drowning to kick me to death on the beach. He saved me because I'm worth saving, and I'm here for a purpose.
I love that. Yeah, I
I'm
love
here
that.
I'm here to carry a message. I'm here to help other people. And I
And you're
believe
doing
my
it.
higher power gave me this platform I'm on today.
Yeah.
As I said, I'm nearly 70 years of age. I couldn't even turn a computer on. 12 years ago, I couldn't even turn a computer on.
Yeah.
You got to remember, I went to prison in 2002. There was no such thing as an iPhone.
Yeah.
That's my beautiful wife.
No, I was just going to ask. Wow, very good for you, man.
Yeah,
That's wonderful.
she's punching above her weight, but that's all right.
Hey, well, she looks beautiful, and at 35, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What you just said too reminded me of a saying my dad and my mom used to always tell me, and my dad especially. He would go, "It's really this simple, Gary. Some people can swim, some can't. You can't
Yeah.
swim. You just got to stay out of the water. It's that simple, but it's that difficult." So, that's in my movie too. My mom giving me that speech, and that just always stuck home with me. And I remember on my 21st birthday, I got shit faced, just blacked out drunk, and I used to always keep this little note on my wall, something like, "I'll be successful, I'm healthy," just like a motivational thing. But
Yep.
clearly I wasn't living by it. So he videotaped me, took the tape out, took that off my wall, and I woke up next to it. It was right on my bed. And then
Yeah,
that
right.
day I was like, "What's this?" And he said it again. He's like, "Some people can swim, some can't. You can't."
I like that. That's the first time I've heard it. I like original things. I'll use that. I'll borrow that one
Please.
because it's true. It is that simple.
Yeah.
And you know what? For me, I'll never get taught to swim because I've got no arms.
Yeah.
I'm never going to be taught to swim, man, because I was born with no arms. That's my attitude. That
It's impossible. So just, it's that simple, but it's that hard. Just don't swim.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, if you can't swim, don't go in the water, man. So say to
Amen.
people, if you can't drink, don't drink. Same deal.
Exactly.
Don't
Exactly.
whinge to me about fucking everything up and losing the missus and losing the job and because you're drinking. It's your
Right.
choice.
Yeah.
You have a choice. Once you stop, you have a choice. Stopping is the hardest part. Staying stop's easy.
Mm-hmm.
Staying stop, you just do it one day at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have the first drink. If you get hit by a train, what kills you? The first carriage or the last carriage?
The first.
The first carriage, man.
Yeah.
Say to everybody, what kills you? The first carriage or the last carriage? And I see some people think about it, and I go, man, just think about it.
That's a great saying too. Yeah.
You're fucking dead. Don't worry about the last carriage. You're dead by the time you get to that one.
Yeah. It's just like how your 2 beers turned into the stolen car, to the qualoids, all that.
That was my last drink, 1982, man. 1982.
That's
What year were you born?
86.
That's the year I got clean. That's the year I got clean this time.
Nice.
Yeah. The third of the third, 1986. It's tattooed on my wrist.
Oh, nice. What month?
The 3rd of March.
3rd of March.
Yeah, the 3rd of the 3rd, 1986.
It's so funny. So on my 1 year, I was thinking to get 110 right here because I don't want to feel 100%. I want to feel 110%. And so that was on my 1 year sobriety. I think I might go get a 110 right there.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
11th of July.
July 11th, which, so check this out. I've always had this thing with the number 7-Eleven going back to when I was like 19 years old. Every time I would see a 7-Eleven on the clock or whatever, I'd say, I am successful in life with my family, my friends, my dreams, my faith in you, my Lord, and my faith in myself. It was just a mantra that I decided at a young age. I was like, I need to say this to myself often, and that's going to be my reminder. So I have 7-Eleven tattooed on me a couple times. And now 7-Eleven is my sobriety anniversary. I got to keep this one. So
Right.
pretty funny about that
That's
number.
crazy.
It is. It's weird. I didn't plan it that way.
Yeah, that's
Or
cool. That's cool.
maybe,
As I said to you before, maybe there's something more powerful than us that's got all this shit down pat, and we keep trying to get in the way.
well, I sure think so.
Yeah, I do. I try. When I relax and let my higher power drive the truck, mate, geez, we go to some nice places.
Amen.
When I'm driving, man, we're getting chased by the cops. Robert Downey Jr. said, I'm allergic to alcohol. Every time I drink, I break out in handcuffs. I seen him at a meeting many, many years ago too, before he got clean.
Saw him.
Yeah, and he was fucked.
I bet.
I remember it was at the meeting at it's called the BART. It's in Los Angeles, in Hollywood Boulevard, and he had a minder with him, and he was detoxing. He was really sick, And now look at the guy today.
Just won an Oscar.
No, look at the guy today. Like this recovery shit can fucking it's miracles.
Absolutely.
And man, you'll go places. You've got a good heart. That's what really I believe is the most important thing. I always say we have a heart of gold and a head of spaghetti.
Yeah.
We have to unravel the spaghetti.
Yeah.
And we do that one day at a time, man, Look, stay in contact, please, Gary. Thank you very much for coming on The Truth About Addiction.
Man, thank you. You are just a wealth of inspiration, and I thank you for what you're doing.
I solemnly swear that I will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.